While it's true that you can't control or plan exactly how your birth will go, that doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare. Like you, I make weekend plans and travel plans, party plans, and even big life plans. But having a plan that might change is better than being unprepared and having no plan at all. I'm Naima, a certified childbirth educator and birth doula, and I'm here to help you create an effective birth plan and to feel more knowledgeable, more confident, and more empowered as you prepare to give birth. In this section, we'll discuss the value that a birth plan adds to your experience and how to use it to increase your overall birth satisfaction. Give you a few pointers for how to get the most of our Soshe childbirth class. And finally, I'll guide you through a relaxation exercise that I hope you'll enjoy now and practice later. Let's talk about what a birth plan is and what an effective birth plan is not. An effective birth plan is not a rigid, inflexible version of exactly how you want your perfect birth to go. It is not the only version of birth that will make you happy. It's not planning for one scenario only, where everything goes out the window as soon as one thing changes. Finally, and this one might surprise you, an effective birth plan is not a piece of paper that you hand to the medical team for the first time when you arrive at the hospital or birth center when you're in labor. If you've heard that some doctors and nurses have mixed feelings about birth plans, or that even some new parents do too, that feeling is probably because of the times when people do all the things we just mentioned. It's inflexible, a last-minute wish list, not a discussion, and it doesn't leave much room for adjusting to the situation without causing disappointment. First, think of birth planning as a learning process for you, where the knowledge you gain from doing the work is as important as the birth plan itself. Second, birth planning is about considering multiple scenarios, not just one perfect birth. This is because a normal and healthy birth can take many shapes. Third, and this one is really important, a birth plan is something you talk with your doctor, midwife, or nurse practitioner about during your routine prenatal appointments. Try to start the conversation by 30 weeks, but you can start sooner or later as needed. This is about knowing your options. If some of your preferences aren't standard practice with your provider, you'll want to know that in advance. And yes, a birth plan printout that you bring with you in labor is a way to efficiently communicate your preferences with all the members of your care team. But it's more than that. It's a request for support on the things that matter most to you. It's also a request to your care team during labor that they ask for your input, your consent, before deviating from your most important preferences. So here's something you need to ask yourself. In walking your care team through your preferences, are you saying, "This is my plan, don't deviate from it, or I'll be unhappy with my birth experience"? Or are you saying, "This is my plan. I'm asking for your help in following it as much as possible. If you think we need to deviate, it's my request that we have a conversation about what may need to change and why." Of course, there are true emergencies that leave little time for discussion. However, most of the time, there will likely be room for you to ask for more information, for pros and cons and alternatives, and for time to make a decision. An effective birth plan tells your care team what kind of support you want and which discussions are most important for you to have. Soshe has thoughtfully created evidence-based and expert-approved birth preparation that spans the most important topics. The birth plan is just one part of Soshe, but it's an important part. We separated the vaginal birth plan from the cesarean birth plan, and both include your preferences for your newborn baby's care. We also know that you might have some of your own unique preferences to communicate. So we left space on your printout so you can write in all the things that are important to you. The mechanics of how to populate your birth plan are simple. We ask a question, and your answers automatically show up on your personalized birth plan. If choosing your answer becomes challenging, Soshe can help. We've provided videos, articles, tips, and quick summaries of what the latest research says, all designed to help you choose what's right for you and your family. Being a part of the decision-making during labor matters, which means your knowledge, your preparation, and finding your voice all matter. The task ahead for you is this. Use Soshe to create your birth preferences. Discuss these preferences with your doctor or midwife at your prenatal appointments. Also, discuss these preferences with your partner, your doula, and anyone else who will be supporting you during labor. And finally, share your one-page printout with the nurses, doctors, and midwives who comprise your care team during labor as a way to ask for support on the things that matter most to you. It's worth putting the time in, whether your due date is days, weeks, or months away. I've already mentioned that research shows that being a part of the decision-making matters. In fact, data show that this often mattered more than how long labor lasted or how much discomfort the person in labor felt. Research has also shown that having a birth plan and taking a childbirth class can improve your birth experience and help keep you and your baby healthy. So be proud of your commitment and your preparation because you're well on your way. Soshe goes way beyond the birth plan. Soshe has a complete childbirth class designed to give you all the tools and information you need for a positive and healthy birth experience for you and your baby. Soshe's birth class covers the usual topics like early and active labor, medicated or unmedicated birth, and preferences like delayed cord clamping and newborn care. Soshe also covers some less usual topics. We have a section dedicated to inductions because over 40% of pregnancies are induced. We go in depth on movement and labor positions because although the norm is to spend most of labor in bed, on your back, the research suggests that other options like upright and side lying positions are often better. We cover how to push and how not to push, to protect your baby and to protect your vagina, bladder, and perineum. We have dedicated an entire section to C-section preparation because it's simply not true that if you're having a C-section, you don't need a birth plan. We have a section with NICU tips because if you find yourself there, it can feel really lonely and isolating. We have a section for your postpartum care because the reality is everyone is so focused on the new baby that too often your needs fall through the cracks. If you haven't already, you can learn more and sign up right here. Preparing for birth and all that's ahead can feel overwhelming. As we close, I'd like to demonstrate one relaxation technique that you can adopt now and use in labor. It's a basic breathing exercise called a cleansing breath. This is often the first breath taken when we are getting ourselves ready for intentional deep breathing ahead. A cleansing breath can also be used to mark the end of a challenge, such as a demanding contraction that requires a lot of focus. All you need to practice this breath with me is to sit still and gently close your eyes. Let's get started. Take in a long, deep inhale through your nose. Pause at the top of that breath and release a slightly longer, slower exhale through your mouth. Let's repeat that. Inhale deeply through your nose. Pause and release a slightly longer, slower exhale through your mouth. We'll repeat that pattern again. However, this time, the head will drop and hang as you exhale through your mouth. Take in a long, deep inhale through the nose. Pause at the top of that breath and release a slightly longer, slower exhale through the mouth, this time gently dropping the head. I encourage you to ground yourself with a few cleansing breaths on your own before moving on to your next task, and several more times throughout your day. Practice when you're stuck in traffic, feeling tired at work, or just when you need a reset. Within seconds, a cleansing breath can help you feel less tense and more capable of dealing with whatever life throws your way. Thank you for joining me, and give yourself credit for showing up today. You're getting prepared, and that matters to you and your baby.